Happy Tuesday. Wanted to jump on and show two different examples of how things play out in the AM New York session. Monday we had a seek and destroy scenario, still possible to trade but challenging, and today we had a revert to mean. Let's get into it. Some fire examples. Some of the different trade setup scenarios or things to be cautious of happened yesterday, Monday, today, Tuesday. Good trading day. Things went well. Just going to show you the things I go through quickly and some of the things that I looked for yesterday and today. First, starting with waking up. We wake up, we're getting ready for the 10 a.m. EST New York AM session trade. Not 9:30, 10 a.m. is the better time to enter, and we'll get into that. But when we wake up, we see something like this. On the 4-hour chart, it gives us some untapped highs that we can map and mark out, including ones over here in the past. We're going to be looking for those to be swept and for entries or targets. Whichever happens first, generally speaking, ends up being the entry. There's more clues to tell us the direction, and we'll get into that using the location of the Asia session and the London session and their placement in regards to each other. So I marked out the untapped highs and untapped lows on these 4-hour candles, this being 10 a.m., 6 to 10 a.m. right here, which is what we could see for the most part when we first jumped on and started looking. Not completely developed yet, but we were still able to mark some untapped highs of those candles. That is the starting place, is we need to know where the chart is going to go. That is the idea behind trading, is to be able to predict where the chart is going to go and get a trade that matches that and make some money. So we can also do this on the 1 hour. Let's skip over that for now. The 4-hour works pretty good for these levels, so we mark those out. Jumping over to the 15-minute, which you guys will see is kind of my happy place to trade. There's several reasons for this, but a lot happens on the 15-minute that gives you ideas of what will happen next. A lot of time price waits until the end of the beginning of a 15-minute candle to reverse, as seen here. Is this whole 15-minute candle from 9:30 to 9:45 allowed itself to play out just to be swept, giving us an entry here right at 9:45. So you'll always see me have the Asia session and the London session up on the screen, because we are looking to see how those are placed comparatively to each other. If the Asia session is above the London session, it's very likely that we will get a reversal. If it did not already happen during London, we will get a reversal either during London or in the New York Open. This morning it was New York Open. So having Asia session sitting above London session told me that I was going to look for longs, specifically because we had these 4-hour untapped levels sitting here. Liquidity sweeps, targets, whatever you want to call them, gave me the idea with Asia sitting above London is that we were going to head up, which is what I ended up trading this morning. So right here is our sweet spot, which is, I have it shaded slightly green for myself, is this sweet spot is to wait until here to enter. Sure, you can scalp from here down to here to sweep this 4-hour candle, this weekly open that had not been tapped. That's another thing you can put in your notes, is that the weekly open will often get tapped. If it hasn't, price hasn't revisited, look for the weekly open to be visited at some point in time. So here at 9:45, we were given a sweep of that 15, and it was a good entry to head up. Pretty simple and straightforward. I don't personally wait for confirmation. I like to enter having my plan in place, and risking that my plan is going to play out. Some people will wait for confirmations within here. I prefer to enter on a sweep here and then just have a set amount that I'm willing to risk in that it's not going to be a continuation. So the whole basis of my strategy plays out in there being untapped highs that can be swept, and Asia having sitting above London with a New York reversal. We're always trying to find a manipulation with a reversal, or a manipulation inside a continuation, which is not this example. We'll explain that another time. So targets for today include those 4-hour untapped highs that I had marked out. As you can see here, here, and here, all of those targets hit. Other things that I add to my chart is I have what is called the New York Midnight Open. Right here is midnight New York time. So if you hear me talk about a revert to mean, the revert to mean in my trading is that I assume price will come back. If it had not visited this New York Midnight Open, I assume price to come back to that level. So that was my initial target on ES, was that I assumed price was going to revert to mean on this. Some clues is Asia and London session having been trending down, that a revert to mean felt appropriate. So in summary, we had Asia session sitting above London session. I looked for a manipulation to take out some untapped lows. And in waiting for my 9:45 to 10:15 entry, I was able to take an entry here and trade these up, taking profit as you wish along the way at our 4-hour untapped highs. If we want to take a look at yesterday, this is what the ICT guys call a seek and destroy condition, whereas Asia sits inside of London, not being indicative or suggestive of any consistently predictable price movement outside of that. It's very often that New York will again then sweep both sides of the London session. Personally, when I have Asia sitting inside London, I trade smaller, and then I rely on some other trading clues in which I've learned along the way, saving that for a different day. Just know when you wake up to check where the Asia session is. I have mine marked from 8 p.m. to midnight, and where London session is, I have it from 3 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. If they fall inside of each other, be cautious. Expect it to be rather volatile and choppy. And if one sits above each other, it's a good time to look for longs. If Asia sits below London, then it is a good time to look for shorts. The targets we discussed were the untapped 4-hour candle highs and also the New York Open. There's other things you might see on my chart, but we're going to save that for a different time. Some live trading examples I will start recording as I'm trading or streaming. It is best to explain stuff while it's happening sometimes. So if you subscribe, you can look forward to that. You'll start seeing some things as it happens. Until next time.